Mara Wilson was on, and she was talking about how initially she was upset with me because she knew Robin Williams, and when Robin Williams died, I was talking about him being a joke thief. And she said, maybe that's not the appropriate time. And I'm like, I get the point. I don't know when the appropriate time is. You know, I get maybe it's not the death day, but, to me, I don't think you get away with something like that. And I said, what do I do when my arch enemy Dane Cook dies? Do I have to just let everything go?
Arch enemy.
We're very dramatic over here.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Good to know. Number one.
Didn't you hear about Vegas? So
It's so funny because you would think we talk about Dane Cook and our art all the time.
Yeah.
But I really only hear it when we're on the show.
Okay. You're right.
He's not like, good morning, Dane Cook is an asshole.
but I took
Another day to take Dane down.
I took, for example, a bully I had in high school, Roger Lafferty, and I saw him on Facebook, and I was pleased that he ballooned to 500 pounds. And I'm not exaggerating. And I'm like, you know what? Now it's his comeuppance, and I don't care if I'm being too mean. Fuck him. And then I'm asking Mara, so what happens now when he dies? Is that the end of it? You know, do I not get to be upset that he began every school day reminding me this is going to be another day of torture?
Listen, I think I am a little bit like you where I hold grudges for life.
I think we're allowed to.
Yeah. So,
because we never started. That's the thing. These people that are like, Keith, easy. I don't start it. So they don't get to determine when I end it.
The problem is that when you might say, okay, so this guy dies, and you're like, you know what, that guy was a dick to me my entire life.
Right.
You know, whatever. May he burn in hell. I don't know.
That's a good example. Yes.
Someone else hearing that would only hear your anger. So they would not hear the justice that you feel like this is serving. They would just hear the anger, and therefore they would say to you, you are just spewing anger, and therefore it's being very insensitive.
I like how Ophira is saying it like this is the news that her therapist says that she chooses to ignore on a daily basis, but the information is stored there, FYI.
I wouldn't use it. No, honest to God, this is how every single one of my therapy sessions ends. I've asked her not to do this, but at the very end, my therapist just goes, that is just so sad. I'm like, you can't do that.
No.
I've never heard anything like it.
I think you're supposed to go, that is so normal. Come back with more normal.
That is just so sad. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Well, I'll see you next week then, because I got more of them.
You had to tell her not to do that?
Yeah, I was like, you can't do that at the end of the session. She was like, oh, okay.
I went to a therapist for about 3 or 4 sessions until I was like, what am I paying for? I need a little.
I'm getting there.
One second. Yeah. So I would start like what I thought should happen is you come into the office with all of your emotions. What happens is when I do that, I just start crying, and then I'm like, well, I don't know where to begin with anymore. I came in with, I take the train, I walk, like there's enough time for me to be like, oh shit, everything's bad. Like if you're just thinking about the stuff that you want to fix, you're in a fucked up state by the time you get there.
Yep.
So he's looking at me and he's like, what's this? And I was like, I don't fucking know. What do I do with this? And he's like, well, tell me what you're thinking. And I'm like, no, you tell me. I don't.
Yeah, you start.
How does this go? You go. And he just keeps staring. And I'm like, if you keep staring, I'm going to fucking freak out. And then I never went back. I'm just like, I need someone to drive the fucking boat.
Agreed.
I drive my whole life all day, every day. I feel like I drive the train when I'm on the train. It's your goddamn turn.
I feel exactly the same way, to the point. I'm sorry, this is not going to be a very popular thing, but when people are shy, I'm like, fuck you. You're making me do the work. Go fuck yourself. You know what? You're an adult. No more shyness. Say something. I have to ask you how you are? Forget it.
I understand. Sometimes I feel like I'm interviewing someone and I'm like, am I doing this because they're shy? Or am I doing this because they want to get out of a conversation and I don't know how to do that because we're not going back and forth until there's closure.
After 9 years old, shy is manipulative. That's the word for it.
You're giving them till 9. They haven't even hit puberty.
That's right. Too bad.
They haven't even gotten a chance to get shy about their fuzzy, disgusting mustache.
They're on Facebook. They're fine.
How shy can you be if you can log in?
That's right.
I will give you until your first selfie.
Right.
Because
your first thumbs down.
you must be pleased with yourself.
Yeah, your first negative criticism of anything.
That's right.
Then it's on. No, I don't think, I would say Roger Lafferty, for example, I would just complain, fuck it. I would say, this guy wouldn't give me a seat on the bus. Rosa Parks got a seat on the bus, Ophira.
Well, I mean,
this guy's beating me, just punching me if I do happen to get a seat. Otherwise, I'm standing and getting kicked by him. It was torture. It's horrible. Well, anyway, I was saying this the other day, and a listener of ours, Liz Quiz, she said, I heard this show, and I thought, imagine if he was dead. And I looked on Facebook, and he is. Roger Lafferty died January of last year.
Same age as you.
Yeah, he was 1 grade younger, which was more embarrassing.
Wow.
But yeah, same age.
Okay, so is it one of these floating Facebook pages that gave her this information?
I don't know what that is.
Where it's like, oh, this person's dead, but they have a dead Facebook profile?
Yeah.
Is it just a dead Facebook?
No, she looked it up and found it in the news, which also goes to my point that he's been dead for almost a year and a half, and not one of his friends said, hey, Keith, cool it. Jesus, he's dead. That's what an asshole he was.
Oh, yeah, you've been writing shitty things on his wall.
On his wall.
From the time he was dead.
Hey, Fatso, I didn't forget about you, I'd write. And nobody's going, Keith.
Yeah, because they were...
Because they were like, hey, he's just shy.
Okay, but Keith, how do you feel, now that you know, how do you feel?
Well, I'll tell you how I feel. First of all, I'm looking at this...
Gravestone? Tombstone?
All right.
Very good. You guys are playing the NPR game. I'm accepting both of these.
And I thought I was bleak. Here's a printout of the gravestone. I'll just put that right on top of my Village Voice cover.
It says Lafferty, Roger E. Jr., and there's a picture of a giant dump truck etched into the gravestone.
Which is not what I would want. I don't care how long I did that for a living.
Oh,
my... They needed this to carry out his body, I think. And then on the top left... that he worked for the fire department. Volunteer, but still. Can you imagine? Maybe using him as a heat shield, I suppose. But Jesus. Oh, my God. Paul Anderson brought up a point. You know what? They should have etched a school bus instead of a truck because that's where he was most happy.
I think the most troubling thing about this conversation, Keith, is that you're not over it.
I am sad that he's dead. This is true. Because I really wanted him to stay alive and live with all that fat body pain. If I'm having knee troubles...
You wanted resolution. You wanted closure, and you never got it.
I hate that these people die on me. I want to sit down and make them cry. And where do they go? They go off and they choke on pork ribs.
Now, I know that he was 500 pounds, and you are nowhere near that amount, and neither is anyone in this room. But the fact that he was our age...
Unbelievable. Yeah,
because, of course, we know fat will kill you. It will kill you. Sarah Jessica Parker, who doesn't let her kids say the word fat.
They're not allowed to say it?
Yeah.
It's rude.
Yeah.
So they don't say it.
Fat is not a nice word. Even though olive oil is fat. Don't say fat. That's okay. No.
Gosh.
It's a magic mineral to her.
It's a thing that killed a 39-year-old. Don't say gun either, by the way. That's going to hurt someone's feelings.
Oh, my God.
But anyway, yeah.
Trigger words.
Yeah. So at 39 years old, fat can kill you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he could have had a heart. At 39 used to, actually, I feel we have a new idea of what's old because I think at some point if someone said, oh, he had a heart attack at 39, people would go, huh. But now we see that it's so young.
Sure.
Or having kids at that age.
Yeah.
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 It's weird that he worked for the fire department. Meanwhile, his thighs were starting half of those fires. Seriously. I'm not even exaggerating.
And still nobody has come to you and said...
Hey, Keith, he's dead.
He's dead.
Yeah, R.I.P. His pants. I mean, this. Never mind that poor chair I saw you sitting on in the picture.
Well,
I was talking to somebody, and it was a girl, and
hard to believe. I
really was. I still. It's easier when you're married. They feel more comfortable.
I know because they know that they don't have to deal with half of it.
She was in my grade, and she was bullied by Roger also.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I said, hey, did you know this guy died? And she didn't know either. And Roger held her down on the bus when it was just the two of them once.
That's so scary.
And wouldn't let her get up. And she said, we're texting, and she wrote, that was the time I realized he just wanted a friend.
Oh, wow.
It was scary at the time, but that realization changed the way I thought of him forever.
But then what did she do? She's just like, okay, I'll be friends.
Right. No, but then it's like
I was not reward bad behavior.
Yeah, I was firm, and then he stopped. But you know what? I get it. I get, there's something sad about a bully. I can give a fuck.
Absolutely.
And then, I'm not joking, right? She wrote, how did he die? And I couldn't help myself. I wrote, he died from working out too hard. How did he die? He died from choking on the salad. He died rock climbing. He died from being too nice to too many people all at once. He died saving Private Ryan. I don't know. How did he die? They think he died. I didn't even have, you know what? The person found that he died through the Daily American, my hometown newspaper. You have to pay money to see the full article. I'm not bothering. How did he die? I don't know. He's the size of a planet.
What did she say to that?
Aw.
Oh.
Yeah.
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 She's doing all right.
Be nice.
Doing all right.
She said, be nice. I go, be nice. That's how they get you. I don't even get that one day of pleasure. That's how they win.
I don't know how intelligent this woman is. I mean, that's where, and that's so unfair because my first thing always goes to someone's like, be nice. Why can't you just be happy about things? And I'm always like, oh, because you're dumb. So you don't think about just easier.
I said, I'm raising my kids to be a bully. They demand respect. They take what they want. And when they die, you feel bad. Like, oh, probably home troubles. What do I give a fuck? I had bus troubles and school troubles and recess troubles and lunch troubles.
But it is the whole thing's a huge problem. I mean, I was just reading on Facebook today, but because a friend was posting this, like, what do I do? Which just shows you they're crowdsourcing information on Facebook about her kid being bullied at a school in California and the principal's not helping. And, and this conversation is just happening constantly. It's like the biggest hot deal right now in America that people are like, bullying. What do we do?
I can't come up with any, like if my kid was being bullied, I really can't come up with anything except telling them, you give it right back and I got your back.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like the nicer person loses until the bully finds another person or just gets tired or whatever. It actually ends when you give it back.
Keith, it's the parents' fault. Was I supposed to fight the parents?
I don't know if that works anymore, though, because of the internet. So it's not like the kid can leave school and it's done. Because as soon as they social media is ever present, and because of that, the bullying continues. So there's no release from it.
When it came to me, when it was with me, the bullies didn't have real friends. It wasn't like the football teams picking on me.
Right.
It was a troubled kid. I'll give you that. But, everybody was just hoping you weren't the one being picked on. And when I'm being picked on, nobody's jumping in because they don't want the wrath. And as I've said before, and I'm just right, you got to fight. What's the worst case? You're going to get a black eye instead of what you're dealing with every day. You have to fight. I came on the bus 1 year, 1 year too late, you know what I mean? But I came on the bus 1 year and I looked at Roger, like, move over. And he didn't move over. And I said, move. And this ghost look in his face, no pun now, he couldn't slide over fast enough, and it changed everything. And from then on, I just punched the bully back, and that was immediately the end of it. It's weird when you hear it as a kid, but the bullies are pussies, and they're picking on you because you allow it. Not to blame the victim, but you are allowing it to happen, and that's why it's happening. You are the weak one. You have to fight back, and I wish I didn't wait so long.
Yeah, oh, God. Also,
I'm sorry, MJG rating in. Did you plan that all summer long? Absolutely, I did. I knew this is first day of school. This is what I'm doing. People are picking out their trapper keepers. I'm like, I'm telling him to move. And of course I was scared, but then you see the look and you're like, holy fuck.
I hope it goes this way. I hope this is the way it is. I have a terrible feeling that times have changed and it's just not that simple. I really do feel that people talk about this is how we solve things, growing up in the 70s or 80s or whatever, but it is not the same anymore. Because I remember being bullied by this girl. It was actually in junior high. And she would always threaten that she was going to kick my head in after school. So I would leave. I would run home from school early or and then one day I was just like, fine. And I waited. And guess what? It was never going to happen. It was just like an empty threat.
Right.
But, and then that ended it.
That's amazing.
Just like
you must have been shitting your pants, though.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And don't wait for your kid to tell you they have a bully problem. I never told my parents. They didn't know.
Oh, my God. I mean, my parents were, we were people that were working.
Yeah.
Right.
They were like, you're alive. Good.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I would tell them, like, my teacher is crazy because he or she really was. You know, you had like a couple of crazy teachers. I can't,
Of course.
Mom, I can't take this teacher seriously. I understand how little I am right now. Like, I actually get that I'm looking up at you saying that, and I'll be looking up at my teacher going, I don't know what the fuck. But this teacher is crazy. And if you just meet him for 5 seconds, you'll know that. This is one of the things, like you said, don't let your kid wait until they tell you that they're bullied. I think that parents, and I'm sorry, I don't have a kid, and like everyone's going to tell me that I don't know, and raising a kid is hard.
I've seen him in movie theaters, by the way. We know kids just fine. Don't worry.
I'll tell you something. I am so sick of being like, of hearing raising kids is hard, and you don't know until you have one. You got told that, you still went and got a kid. It's going to be the hardest thing. No, you don't understand. It really is. I know that. That's why I'm not having kids.
Right.
So now you know it better than me somehow. I don't give a shit.
Have to fries her eggs up as omelets in the morning, just in case. Doesn't matter. She's with somebody that doesn't have sperm.
Unfertilized omelets.
Well, so I think that, look at your kid. Is that the kid that was bullied? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at your kid.
Look at me with my spine coming out my back.
Yeah.
I might need a sit-down talk.
Yeah.
Right.
Look at your kid and how he responds to their siblings. Look at your kid and how he responds when you get angry. Watch them when they play with the neighbor. Is he the shit kid? Do you have the shit kid?
Right. It is possible.
Come on.
It is possible.
Open your goddamn eyes. Do you remember that bully movie with the little kid with the giant, I think he had giant glasses. If not, he looked like he had giant glasses.
Of course.
He's just the littlest kid, and just like so nerdy, and so the person that would be picked on is probably going to grow up to be a wonderful human being that everybody will envy and should envy and has the best brains in the world. But look at your kid. He's the kid that's going to be bullied. He's the kid that can't finish a sentence without stuttering. And that's what kids go for. They're going to fucking beat that kid up. Is your kid the kid that gets beat up? Look in his fucking face and ask him a question. And let me bring this back. We had high-low, and we taught this. We used to do this. Keith and I were together. At the end of the day, what was the high and the low of your day, right? So parents started doing that with their kids. The high and low of your day, you're actually getting kids to speak. They have to articulate their day. They have to talk about what happened, and then you learn about their fucking day. And it's not a goddamn surprise that your little tiny kid who looks like a second grader amongst his fifth grade class is being bullied. Come the fuck on. Can you take him to a boxing class? No, that's not going to make him have all the muscles in the world and be bigger than everybody, but it will teach him something. Reflex. The boxing teacher will have a different perspective. Speak to him differently. It won't be you going, but you're so wonderful.
Right, exactly.
Your kid's not so wonderful.
But
to
you're
everybody.
mommy's special little man.
Yeah.
The kid's just like, oh, that's not helping.
Yeah. The boxer will be like, and then you fucking punch him in the face. And that's not you saying it to your kid, so good for you. This other guy's like being that whatever influence. That's what you should turn your head to. Let that guy tell your kid to fucking kill someone. Not kill. Okay, we're pushing it and I'm getting heated. But
But put them to sleep.
Put them to sleep.
Here's a knife.
Just a knife and a leg.
Right. I think my dad was picked on when he was a kid, and to make me feel good out of the blue, he would compliment me, but it was so weird and forced. Like just out of, you know how smart you are and talented you are, and your charisma is amazing, Keith.
You're like, thanks, Dad.
Thanks. What's my real problem? You know. All right, I'm gonna go on the bus now.
It's like people that smile that don't smile very often. So when they do smile, it looks very unnatural. You're like, stop doing that weird thing with your face.
And also, stop being scared of talking to your kids. Do you remember how you felt when your parents were like,
Everyone's scared of their kids.
I just want to talk to you about where penises go when it's time to have a baby. Oh, I said penis. Can you handle mommy saying penis? It's a fucking penis and a vagina. Jesus fucking Christ. They can feel your angst. It fucking feels weird. Now they're picturing your vagina and this person's penis. Stop it.
Right.
It's a fucking penis and vagina. And they make babies. You might as well tell them before they make their own. Jesus Christ. The internet exists.
My mom told me that she told all us kids about the birds and the bees, but none of us remember it.
Well, you remember the pollen.
we say
Right.
that.
Like she literally told you about birds and bees.
Right.
That one's a
actually, it's
bluebird.
like, that's weird.
Look, Keith, it's blue. Bluebird.
I know everything about the birds and the bees.
Yes.
Oh, do I?
I know about
It's
swallow.
springtime. You know what I mean? They're coming back.
And then we become those kids who just talk like that because we think that the innuendo is there, but we have no idea why.
No idea.
But we would say, yeah, we don't remember that. We must have been too young. She's like, no, I told you. And that was the end. Like, well, we just told you. We don't remember it. I think they told us, like, my mom told me, like, as she was having me. Fucking. Looking at her
So
belly.
get it in there. Get it in there. Yeah, no one told me anything in my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like grade 7 or whatever when they took the girls. This is like, again, such a product of a different time. They took the girls out of class and they shuffled them into a little room and then gave us booklets that were basically just Tampax coupons.
Right.
Just to make us early consumers of the right brand. And they give you like a little talk about like, all right, you're going to have your period one day. And it was like, what? Like, I had no
Right.
idea. I was like, this sucks.
They didn't teach her.
Opt out.
I really, whoever taught me about periods, I think I just kind of, there's like floating information back then, like just periods, you hear blood, you hear, something about cramps, but I didn't know. I really thought you just get your period, that's your month. Nobody said 5 days. Nobody said like headaches, backaches, like all this shit. Also, me learning about sex, I think I was asking my mother a lot. I think I was in 4th grade and I was like, I'm really so curious. And at 4th grade, it's time to fucking know. My mother gave me a book and I was horrified.
Oh, yeah. With pictures, I guess.
Horrified. It wasn't the pictures that bothered me. It was that I was like, wow, mom really wanted children. Because if you, like, she fucking took
This
one.
is terrible.
Yeah, this is a horrible idea. I was like, oh my God, mom, in order to have us, did this 3 times. She must have really wanted us to I was like, oh my God, she really was committed to this. They did it. And I just.
Right. That it was torture. And then she was like, we actually did it more than that. You're like, how could you?
2 years later, I was like, yeah, you did it 3 times or whatever. And she was like, no, it's actually, people just do it. And I'm like, no, that's just, now we're talking outside of my understanding.
You're like, well, I won't.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
I don't
I'm
understand.
not going to do that.
How does that even fit?
I'm being told that this is proof that there's no afterlife, that Roger Lafferty hasn't been haunting me since he's been dead. But I think
Clearly not. You're fine with that. Totally moved on.
I think he couldn't come through the ceiling. I think like you would see like the ceiling dust falling and stuff whenever he tried. I think if he is in hell, which he must be, his hell is he has to carry the fire hose up all the steps, but they never end.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's what I'd imagine. And
pretty
there's
good.
a big cake on top, but again,
You
can never go there.
Is there something about letting it go? Do you ever want? No.
No. Okay. Yeah.
Nope, I didn't start it.
They say for your own benefit.
Oh, I'm feeling great.
Everything's totally coming together.
Anybody thinking this isn't healthy? Oh, it's great. I've never felt better. I do wish he was alive to hear this.
That is, well, there must be a German word, like, because I'm probably saying it wrong, right? There's Schadenfreude, right? Which is the enjoying the failure
Of others.
But what do you do if you enjoy the death of others? What is
Psychopath.
that called?
I think that's called.
Malleism.
Exactly.
So this woman I was talking to, she said, maybe he learned when he got older how to be nice to people. And I said how he didn't, because the one picture I see him, he happens to be giving the middle finger. And again,
No way.
Yeah. And again, and the finger weighs 200 pounds. And I'm not exaggerating.
This is the no exaggeration show, everybody.
And nobody said again, hey, Keith, cool it. He died. He had no friends because he was a shithead. These bullies never had a time when they didn't try to make friends on the bus and it didn't work and then went, fuck it, I just got to start punching people. They were assholes from the get-go. And for me, I was always the last person picked up and the last person dropped off on the bus. So it was quite often, it was just me and him on the bus.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
If he didn't, you're sitting there with me and you can't get that I am trying to A, survive, B, be liked, C, have friends, Now, this is on you. You're not trying. You're a shithead. And if it's not your fault, then it's God's fault because you were born evil.
Now, is there anything about whatever age you were?
He ate our
my
parents'
God.
house. I'm not making this up. This is absolutely true. Literally, he ate my parents' house and home. 2 buildings.
We used to be rich.
Right.
We had it all.
We had a house, a home.
If it wasn't for Jeff. Is that his name, Jeff?
You know what? I don't even want to respect him with his real name. It is Jeff. No, that's not a person that ever tried to make friends.
So-
I keep punching and it's not working. Are you my friend now?
So wait a
Friendship
second.
punch. Hold on, Ophira. Friendship punch.
Get your head a little closer.
Maybe pinning you down will work. Nothing's working.
By the way, I take boxing, and I have to say that I sometimes fantasize about getting into a fight because of it. But I also do know that I'd have to be like, okay, just a foot, come a little further. Okay, turn to the side. Okay, like I don't know how to actual fight. I know how to like do a set if they stand perfect, and then I'm on the side 90-degree angle. I can, yeah.
Somebody's suggesting that he is haunting me, and that's where my knees problems come from. Like, what was that horror movie where they end up you're literally on your back? You get back pains because they're haunting you and following you around. It's a true story.
That's called Life. The
right.
horror movie's called Life.
That could be happening. He's pushing me down a little
You know
bit
what?
as I walk.
I'm going to write a horror movie. It's going to be called Life. It's going to be the scariest fucking movie that anyone has ever seen.
The alarm starts at 7 a.m. and
Yeah, exactly. And you wake up disappointed. That's where it starts.